stroke, Bridget. You're the one who lured him into it. You think you're so smart, that's because you were a idiot and don't know how much of a difference 7 years makes. Apparently, she was also 15 and too young to know any better.
We live in the South. A lot of people get together young. A lot, their own dad and mom were the same age, you dumb.
Today, we lost Angry Grandpa. And maybe I shouldn't be filming this right now, because it just happened, but I respect him too much to hide how I feel from the internet.
24 hours later.
That my father has passed away.
Michael Green, otherwise known as Kid Behind the Camera, is the owner of the Angry Grandpa Show. It was a show where him and his father were pretty much dirt poor, living in a trailer, and showed his father getting mad and destroying things and yelling at the top of his lungs. This show didn't really do that well for the first couple of years, but then out of nowhere, it completely blew up. I'm not gonna go into the background of the Angry Grandpa Show. If you heard of it, you've heard of it. If you haven't, you haven't. But this video is mostly about Kid Behind the Camera. In late 2017, Angry Grandpa sadly passed away. And with this, millions of people were impacted because he had over 5 million subs at the time, gaining billions of views every year, and he really considered all of his fans, at least Angry Grandpa, he considered his fans his children. Now, the day of Angry Grandpa passing away, Michael would actually post a video announcing that his father has passed. Some people might think this is kind of like messed up to do it so quickly. I personally don't think so, considering that, you know, like him and his dad kind of had an agreement like that they both loved YouTube. They both thanked YouTube and their fans for everything that they gave them. They literally went from dirt poor to being able to buy a multi-million-dollar house and multiple cars. So it's very understandable why Michael made this video so quickly. But as someone who was a fan at them at the time, I was about 15 years old, so whatever, I found something very weird with this situation. The day after Angry Grandpa passed, Michael actually went out of his way and made Angry Grandpa merch. Pretty much RIP Angry Grandpa and Angry Never Dies, and he sold it. And not to mention, in his video a day after his father died, it was at the top of the description. It was literally the #1 thing right when you click on the video, and it still is to this day. Now, of course, Michael would be called out for this, and he did give a response pretty much saying that his father would have wanted him to do this and make as much money as possible off of his death.
48 hours after he dies, you have a t-shirt that says, "Rest in peace, Grandpa." Is that a real thing? Is that a real t-shirt you had?
Yeah, it's a real... Now, here's what happened. When Dad was dying, you know, before he went to the hospital, he really wanted to do merchandise, and I did not want to do it. I never wanted to do it because I didn't think people would buy it. I didn't want to put out merchandise because nobody would buy it, and it would be humiliating. And so, a month before Dad went to the hospital, he was like, "Mike, let me run the merchandise. I'll take care of it, whatever." So I got him in touch with Broadband TV. They signed these contracts, and we were under contract to sell merchandise for Broadband TV, and Dad's sick in the hospital a month later. And I thought he was going to die, which he did, but not as soon as I thought. So at Thanksgiving, I'm talking to him, and he's like, "Mike, I don't know how much longer I got." And I've never told this story. He said, "Mike, I don't know how much longer I got. So talk to the people and see if they can work with a tribute shirt."
A little bit after Angry Grandpa's death, there was a lot of videos coming out about Angry Grandpa's abuse. And it wasn't just towards Michael, his son, it was also towards his grandkids, which were actually given to him after their mother, Angry Grandpa's daughter, actually abusing them as well. Now, there are some very disturbing videos of this online. I recommend, you know, if you want to see that, go right ahead and do that. But I'm not really talking about that specifically today. I really want to focus on Michael/Kid Behind the Camera because he is just as predatory as him. And there even is proof of Michael also abusing and exploiting these kids for views online.
This is the same child who's being exploited for content on YouTube. The same little boy being dragged around with a knife. And the same little boy getting shoved down by his head with his neck getting pushed back. This is the same little boy crying for help. This is the child whose abuse lasted all the way until 2017.
Now, that's some of the Kid Behind the Camera's past issues, and there's multiple videos on this if you want to learn more about his past, but we're going to get into some more present-day actions, which kind of involves his past a little bit. But, you know, we'll get into this. So, Kid Behind the Camera is in this podcast called LolCow. It's pretty much a podcast where a bunch of fallen-off YouTubers/memes, LolCows, have a podcast together, and they just yell at each other for hours, and people will love it. You know, it's Keemstar, Boogie2988, Wings of Redemption, and Kid Behind the Camera, and usually a few other guest appearances. Now, during this podcast, there was a big argument between Kid Behind the Camera and his ex-wife and this other girl who I don't really know. Now, this argument got so heated that it actually resurfaced some actions that Kid Behind the Camera did when him and his ex-wife first met, which was around 2008. So in 2008, Michael was 22 years old, and his girlfriend at the time was 15 years old. Now, it has come out that his ex-wife did lie about her age at the time, but as a lot of people point out, as a 22-year-old man, you can kind of see and tell the mental difference between a 15-year-old and someone that is of age.
Did you spend 2 years of your life not realizing she's going to school, that she can't drive, that she has to have her parents to take her?
Somebody tells you they're 18, I'm not going to go, hey, can I see your ID? It's stupid.
Here's I don't know what Bridget looked like when she was 15, but like I know what like my nieces looked like when they were 15, and they look drastically different from 15 versus 20.
Well, Wings, only one of us is on file fucking defending like the age of consent. That's not even me. I haven't even said that. I feel like I'm the fucking victim in this. I was the one that lied to.
I mean, if we watch the Queen's clip, you're on file too, bud.
And these actions were actually brought to light a couple years ago on Drama Alert, supposedly from Keemstar. And Keemstar even said at the time, people didn't care because, you know, it was something in the past, you know, it's already over, it's already done with. They're both consenting adults now. But is it something that's really okay? Considering just a couple weeks ago, a Minecraft YouTuber kind of got canceled for the same exact thing. Scyphalophagus. Except that girl was, I think, 13 or 12 at the time. Disgusting shit, I know. But it's kind of proof of double standards that people are having, and I get it. It's something that happened years ago, but it's still disgusting. And considering that Kid Behind the Camera said that the only reason why he was looking for a girlfriend pretty much was because he didn't drive, and he still doesn't drive, I think, to this day. Whole ass grown man with like 2 or 3 kids and still doesn't drive. And that he was looking for a girlfriend to pretty much be a chauffeur.
Bridget's MySpace profile said that she was 18 years old. I reached out to her. I really wanted someone that knew how to drive. That was the initiative. I was like, man, I can't drive. I'm a loser. Bridget said she could. I was like, all right, let's start seeing each other. She lied about her age. And at what point, like when I found out we were 2 years in, do I leave at that point? No, of course not.
Yeah.
We've been together for 2 years by that point.
What I don't understand is that Bridget was 15 years old at the time. So how did she drive a car and how did she have a license? There's so many holes in his story, you know. You know, the fact that he was 22 and, you know, when you are, I am around that age. I am 23 years old, okay? I would be able to tell if someone is 15 if I met up with someone, okay? Like, it wouldn't be that difficult to figure out, okay, this person is very young and I need to check some ID from you, buddy. Also, not to mention at the time, Michael was doing his YouTube stuff full time and he was working from home, working for Paul Heyman / WWE. And his ex-wife at the time was in high school for another 3 years. Like, I'm just surprised he never questioned once during the entire relationship. Like, hey, so what are you doing for 8 hours a day if you don't have a job? Like, do you have a job that I don't know of or something? Or what is happening here? Now, this would lead to Keemstar actually trying to get some advice from another streamer. And the other streamer said, if I were you, dude, I would completely block him and just stop talking to him because that is fucking disgusting. Doesn't matter how long ago it was.
No, I wanted your opinion on something, produces it or whatever.
Yeah, isn't there some shit about like how he met his wife when they were like when she was like in a really weird age gap or something?
This is exactly what I'm calling about. All right.
I'm gonna need to look into it before I make any firm stances. But yeah, hit me with it.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what I know, right? This story came out 7 years ago or whatever, but people knew about it before them because they openly told their audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 7 years ago, Drama Alert and Scarce both covered this story. And at the time, nobody gave a shit because they were already together for like a decade. Like literally nobody cared when me and Scarce covered this 7 years ago. But allegedly, Mike's wife, Bridget, lied about her age to Mike, right? And he found out when she was like 17, after they were already dating for like 2 years, and he didn't break up with her, and they've been together for 17 years now and have 2 kids and are married. Okay.
Yeah, yes. That's gross and disgusting.
Disgusting, horrible, right? When I found out about it 7 years ago, I was just basically like, well, the expiration date is run on that. They've been together for like a decade type of shit, right? It was like one of those things where it's like, well, nothing can be done. Now it's 17 years later, and now they have kids together, they're married, and I'm just like, yeah. It's just like one of those things where, yeah, this is fucked up. Mike is so wrong for that. I don't condone this at all. But also, nothing can be done. Like, what is he supposed to get canceled? Is he supposed to lose his children or something? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I think the
it's one
main
of
thing
these-
that you're leaving out is supposedly the girl like lied about her age. He didn't find out. And there's no proof that he knew how old the person was. But like even then, I mean, I wouldn't want to associate with this guy personally. I think this is just gross and weird.
And it's so disgusting to me how Keemstar has to ask another person's opinion in order to say, oh, hey, is it okay if I'm still friends with this pedophile over here? Like, no, it does not matter if it was almost 17 years ago at this point. That is still predator behavior. And I'm sorry, the truth is, people like that don't change. And if they do, they have to make some effort to do that change, like dropping the person they were a pedophile for. But no, they were together for 17 years. And not to mention, this isn't the first time that he's tried to monetize someone's death. Even his ex-wife at the time, her father died, okay? They didn't end on the best terms though. This man's name was Doug. Now, he was trying to ruin their career by pretty much lying about a bunch of stuff. I won't lie, you know, as much as I don't like Michael, he was not in the wrong in this situation, okay? The person, Doug, he was 100% in the wrong, lying about multiple things, saying that Michael's ex-wife, his daughter, was lying about being pregnant and everything like that. Just ridiculous shit, you know? And they never really got to get on good terms after that. And once her father passed away, what do? You make a YouTube video off of it and monetize the fuck out of it. As much shit as her father talked and everything like that, that was still her father. You know, she still loved him deep down and she still knew the person that he was when she was a child. And in the video, multiple times, Michael is telling her, oh, but don't forget how much of a piece of shit he was. Oh, don't forget this, don't forget that.
I never wished like death on Doug or anything, but I wanted him to like pull his head out of it. How he was treating you, how he was. I mean, the man emotionally attacked you for 5 years.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
He took his hate to the grave. You guys, there was never a moment in time where he just let up a little bit, which like makes you wonder what's going on.
Like literally while she's just mourning her father's death, you know, this man is just instantly thinking, let me get my vlog camera and instantly vlog this serious ass moment here, like he did with his father's death, you know. And I get like that might be a cope for someone, but at the same time, no, no, that is not a valid reason at all to vlog your wife at the time pretty much going through it, and you are trying to convince her how terrible her father was. Like, she doesn't care. She knows how terrible her father was. She is still sad because that is her father. Anyways, Kid Beyond the Camera is just a piece of shit, and I might make a video on Angry Grandpa pretty much compiling all the everything from Kid Beyond the Camera to Angry Grandpa. I might, but you know, like I said, I used to watch them back in the day before any of this shit came out, and I honestly feel bad about making this video because I feel like I'm betraying my favorite YouTuber here, you know, like someone that I grew up on. You know, I used to watch his vlogs all the time. Now that I'm older and I'm more mature, I can see how much of an asshole he was about this whole situation. You know, at first I was a part of that team, was like, oh yeah, his father 100% wanted him to release merch one day after his death, probably made the merch literally the night of his death. He wanted that. He 100% wanted that. You know, and now that I'm older, I was just seeing that I was a brainwashed fucking kid and I was stupid. And yeah, I mean, that's really it. I don't want to make this video longer than it's supposed to be. If you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe. Maybe I'll be posting again. Peace.